Let's start with the U.S. men's national team. This younger squad here getting it done against Costa Rica. The first game there for Miguel Herrera as well. Diego Luna, minute 17, breaking his nose.
Yeah, catches a forearm right there, right on the nose. He's going to go see the sideline, get attended to, but that nose is broke.
Yeah, and Pochettino said let's just say he was very, very brave to want to keep playing.
Dad and son, he's a warrior, right? Character, that's what coach is looking for.
21st minute, Brian Wright slots at home, Janusz.
It's just a tremendous finish, really, and as we mentioned, look at that ball. I mean, he's had a tremendous game, even with the broken nose, and that's a good finish, by the way.
Broken nose, not a broken spirit, trying to get something here, Costa Rica, but Zach Steffen.
That's a massive save. He had a couple good saves, this being the best. I mean, opposite hand, going across his face. It's a very good save.
77th minute. Ball cut back to the top of the box. Curled home, Janusz, there by Caden Clark.
That's set up well for him, right? It's one of those that the moment you hit it, right? Not an easy one with that little bit of a bounce, but
beauty.
What a finish that is. Absolutely outstanding.
Oh, yeah, this was outstanding from the U.S. men's national team. A little 3-0. Why not, Herc?
I mean, Patrick Ajiman,
yep.
What else did you want in your first two games? You get a start, you cause a PK, score a goal. You come on as a substitute, you get what ends up being not the game winner, but the third goal in a rout for the U.S. men's national team.
A little dance there to celebrate. Why not? A possession there and dominance all the way around here for the U.S. men's national team. Like I said, that debut, not so great for Miguel Herrera, but all right, it's barely his first game. But when we talk about takeaways from what we saw from this 3-0 start, what jumped out at you, Herc?
Well, let's start with it's January Camp and who they're playing.
Yep.
And the U.S. men's national team does not depend on domestic talent. The majority of their talent plays overseas. They are in Europe. They have maybe every call-up 1, 2, 3 MLS players, 2 of them being goalkeepers. Costa Rica's depends on domestic talent. And I saw this game, and the only thing I could think of was Miguel Herrera is going to have a hard time in which to be a relatively easy qualifying for a team, a nation like Costa Rica. But these players, it's not easy. You don't know each other. You've never played with each other. You come in. You're all trying to make a name for yourself. And in these two games, not just this game, but as a whole, you made it look seamless. There were times where you can identify certain patterns of play. There were times when you can see there's a certain essence, a certain aura about the team, a message sent of how intense you're going to be, of how you're going to win the ball, how you're going to progress upfield, and how you're going to be dangerous. That is very positive. But if we're looking for things to take away from a January camp against these two rivals, a very subpar Venezuela and a brutally bad Costa Rica,
to say the least,
we are stretching it. Other than that, hats off to these boys because a lot of them did themselves massive favor.
Yeah, because it could have been maybe simpler rivals, but at the end of the day, Janusz, they're getting it done. 8 players that made their debut with the U.S. men's national team. We're ready for a little throwback from you, but the question is, what do you remember for your debut?
I just remember being nervous and happy that I played. It's similar because, we always keep looking at this and we say, well, our starting 11 or 13 or 14 or 15, they're all in Europe, right?
Look at those legs.
Look at
that tongue. I don't know what I was thinking. It's always every picture, my tongue is out. It won't happen today, by the way. I don't think, at least. But I'll tell you what, a camp I remember, 35, 40 players, first camp with Bora Milutinovic. And he said at the beginning of the camp, says 18 players will play against Uruguay, 3 or 4 will sit in the stands, the rest will go home. I remember, you know what? If I just sit in the stands, I'll be more than happy. I started the game against Uruguay. We beat Uruguay, went on to lose to Argentina maybe a week later, and the rest is history. And, for me, it was 44 caps. That's why I think there's always players that can make an impact. I think there are a couple that did. If I look at Diego Luna and Jack McGlynn, those are exactly the type of players that midfield that we normally have, that physical midfield of McKennie and Adams and maybe Musa, right? The plan B for Gia Reyna, I heard that we may be talking about him a little bit, but right? I mean, we need that creativity, and I think Diego Luna with that character, with the way he played, Jack McGlynn, that little bit of a nonchalant type of guy, the Cole Palmer, maybe a stretch, but the way he's played, I think they made a case for him. Zach Steffen, by the way, and goal.
Zach's interesting. A lot of these are interesting. What Giannis is talking about when he's playing with the U.S. men's national team, those are first-team spots up for grabs. Mm-hmm. You can win a position. I don't know who honestly in this roster thinks they're going to beat anybody in that 11. I don't know what spots in that 11 are up for grabs that anybody in this January camp honestly has an opportunity for. It doesn't mean they can't find themselves on a plane to the World Cup, well, you're going to be home. But on that final list, it doesn't mean that. But these January camp players right now, they're not only competing with the best of the domestic league, they're competing with the Cole Campbells of Dortmund, an 18-year-old who was killing it in the reserve league, who's scoring goals and assists. There are going to be 20, 30 more of those players throughout the years. You're competing with those players as well. So it's not going to be that easy. But they did themselves a massive favor. Those players don't have 2 weeks in front of the national team coach. Those players don't have that time on and off the field to be evaluated by the main man, Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah, but there are 2 or 3, maybe 4 players that deserve the right to be looked at again with the stronger players. Because you know, Herc, we've been there. It's different playing with the guys that you just met, and you know deep down there's so many good players that maybe can make you look even better, right? If you do the Luna, you have Pulisic making runs, and Adams in behind where you don't have to worry about it. So I think these 2 or 3 players now, in the mind of Poch, he's got to be thinking, okay, now the next game, the more pressure game. I don't know if it's the Nations League, whatever it may be.
It could be down the road.
Now I want to see if they can do that when the stakes are a little bit higher. And that's all that means. And you have to make an impact if you're a player. You can't be thinking, well, it's, cupcake, as we used
Camp
to call
cupcake.
it. Camp cupcake. No, it's never that, because there's always that chance that
you've
you're
got to go out there and
opportunity.
prove. I'll just leave you guys with this. An old coach of mine, Siggy Schmidt, may he rest in peace, used to say, don't tell me to put in, tell me who to take out.
Yeah.
That's like, who are you taking out so one of these players can come in? And that's what you got to really realize where this national team program is today. It doesn't mean that this isn't important to them, because it really is.